Hey, good kind of people. What is going on? Lee Sanders here. You're checking out an all new The RCWR Show, covering the latest in all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. And for some of you guys, you may know of my work over at the 411mania.com site, as I'm a columnist and reporter over there. Here we are. It's another week. And I'm a little bit melancholy right now because this is episode number 30 of our coverage, particularly in these lost episodes of WOW Women of Wrestling. And here we are at this point, number 30. We only have 2 more episodes to go in this lost episode coverage, and then we're done until fall when Women of Wrestling come back with all new episodes. I don't know about you guys, but I'm definitely a little bit sad about all of this, man, because I've been enjoying covering these episodes again. But you know what? I can't be too sad about it, because when it's all said and done, these episodes, even though they're new to many of us as they've never been released before, we're talking about episodes that is almost 2 years old. And so going into these new batch of WOW tapings that's going to be going down this May, I don't know about you all, but I'm eagerly anticipating that new season, because that's going to be as current as humanly possible, especially now that AJ Mendez Brooks is involved with the promotion. I can't wait to see, and I really have a very strong feeling that they're going to be taking it up to another level. Let me tell you, I got to share this with you guys because, you know, we drop these episodes in our coverage once a week, and this is WOW related. And what was I actually chuckled when I saw this particular comment that came my way. As I always tell you guys, especially you guys that check out the content via YouTube, youtube.com/the RCWR Show, I always go out of my way to say to you guys, hey, let me know what you guys had thought about this episode, or what did you think about this match, or what did you think about some of the ideas that I had mentioned as far as yada 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 yakety smackety. And one comment had came in. It was on one of our WOW episodes, and it had nothing to do with my overall takeaways from the particular episode we were covering that week. It had nothing to do with any of the women on the WOW roster, none of that whatsoever. Instead, and I'm not even going to give the person their 15 minutes of fame by mentioning their handle, but this is a comment that actually, now I will say this, if you're following me on Twitter at the RCWR Show, then you'll definitely be able to see what I'm talking about. But a person had left a comment on one of the WOW recaps. It looks like for this one, they left a comment on our Lopez last laugh on Tessa Blanchard. So this probably would have been around episode 27 or 28, give or take. And the person said the following: women of wrestling will burn before truly getting started. Yeah, talk about salty. Now, as I always say to you guys, before you post, just take a second, look at what you're getting ready to put out there. And if you even have to hesitate for a second, you probably shouldn't be putting it out there. But this is obviously somebody that has, likes to spit that hot venom out there. They like to get their troll on. This is what I had said in regards to this post on Twitter. I said, and it's comments like this why some new promotions don't really get a chance to truly shine. Because jackasses like this fool that has a negative outlook on everything, or at least what they don't like. Do you? Stick to what makes you happy. Don't worry about others. That was it in a nutshell, and I really can't help but truly feel that way. Look, some people, let's be honest, some people, they may not like the fact that Tessa Blanchard and David McLean are continuing on with their relationship, with their partnership. Some people may not like that, given the fact of some controversy that Tessa was involved in a few years ago. Do I believe that people make mistakes? Do I believe that sometimes things that are said can be misspoken, can be taken out of context? And I'm not sticking up for Tessa Blanchard at all. Mind you, at all. I'm just helping you all look at it from a couple of different angles. I do believe people can change. I do believe that people can pretty much own up to their mistakes. And although apologizing, showing sympathy and empathy is badass, but it's what's going to happen with that next foot you take forward that everybody is going to be watching. And I feel at this point, that's where all of us collectively as the wrestling community, that's where we all need to be as far as seeing what all is going to be happening with Tessa going forward. Look, not for nothing, but ever since that controversy went down, she pretty much has been MIA. She has pretty much removed herself from the spotlight. You have not heard of any other controversies that's been going on. So for people that maybe are still a little bit caught up from that, okay, I can totally understand where some of you might be coming from. But even at that, if it's got you that worked up that you just are in a position where because of an individual, and as I always like to tell my friends and family, never make something be about an individual, especially when it comes to getting to where you need to be in life, when it comes to making your money, career advances, you name it. Never let an individual be the reason why you are a bit handicapped trying to get to from point A to point B. You feel where I'm coming from, folks? So I totally respect some people where they're coming from, but to let it get to a point where because of an individual, it may stop you, or it's gonna stop you from checking out a promotion, you're really, if you take a step back and think about it, you're really cheating yourself. That's just my personal 2 cents on that from a distance. And then you just have those that honestly, they just want to be negative Nelly. And they just want to just trash on everything. It is what it is. But I had to share that comment with you guys because I know there's definitely a decent amount of you guys. You do appreciate the WoW coverage. I know there's a decent amount of you guys from the previous years. You would always make it be your business. Whether you show love, you tune in when we're doing the WoW recaps live, or you check it out on demand, or you're showing the extra love and you're checking it out in audio format. Because we still got a lot of people that love checking out the audio versions of our shows and everything, especially when it comes to the WoW coverage. Y'all know exactly who you are. Much love to you guys, as always. Just had to share that story. Hopefully that kind of put a little bit of a smile on your face. Hopefully that kind of got you going, wait, say what? And all of that. I just had to share that with you guys. Yes, when I say I read every single comment that comes my way all throughout social media, I actually really do take the time out to read everything that comes my way. So episode 30 of WoW, Women of Wrestling. Here we are. We're down to the final 3 here, beginning with this one. I love the great package that opened up the show, as we pretty much got a recap on Exile and how they've been running roughshod all throughout the Women of Wrestling roster, particularly when they took out Keita Rush of the Bully Busters. And we saw that Steffi Slays, she has been trying for numerous episodes now to get that big payback on Exile. And this go round, we see Steffi Slays finding a kindred spirit, if you will, in Callie Ray, as the two teamed up to take on Exile's Malaya Hasaka and Exodus. And this was really, I was a little bit confused by this. I got to be honest with you guys, because to kick off this match, I was under the impression that Malaya Hasaka was escorting and somewhat being a valet, if you will, to Genesis and Exodus, and that she pretty much was just going to be chilling at ringside. And as you're seeing the flow of the introductions, everything leading up to the match setup, you're under the impression Malaya Hasaka is just going to be chilling on the outside and everything. But then it actually turns out Malaya Hasaka is actually participating. She's actually tag teaming in this one, as it was her and Genesis that pretty much were doing their thing here. So, yeah, it was a little bit confusing. This wasn't the only time during this episode where the way it was translated to us
on our TV sets and all that, because you'll learn a little bit later on, there was a little bit of more, wait a minute, a little miscommunication what exactly is going on, but they cleaned that up a lot better. The later part we're going to be approaching soon, they cleaned that up better than what happened here with the opening match. But Malaya Hasaka and Genesis, they pretty much Malaya Hasaka and Exodus, they were our legal women in this tag match and everything. So this was pretty good. The team of Callie Ray and Steffi Slays, they clicked very well. I'm trying to recall if it was maybe on our last episode of WoW Reaction or the episode before, but I remember I said, hey, as far as a really good transition into who would be a good honorary member for the Bully Busters, I do remember mentioning Callie Ray, and I want to say maybe I also gave a nod there to Faith the Lioness, Nikkita Lyons, right? If I did not mention Callie Ray at all, I know for a fact I did mention Lioness. But I definitely was also thinking, not for nothing, Callie Ray would fit in very well with that nice laid back. I mean, she is just, you look at her, just everything of her story, her background, everything just screams mega baby face. How can you not root this girl on? How can you not cheer for her and everything? So I thought these two, Steffi Slays and Callie Ray, clicked very well as a tag team. Closing moments of this matchup, and you just know by now, when you see that one skinny white guy referee with the short, dark brown to jet black hair, if you see him involved in a match, there's going to be some shenanigans going on, because he is pretty much see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. He is just the ultimate. I mean, he seriously reminds me of Gene Wilder, but just as a referee from that freaking movie, man. Seriously, this guy, every time I see him, I just can't help but go, can we do something new here? Just once, can we see this guy smarten up? Because Jesus, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, right? But every single time we get an exile match, and this guy just happens to be the referee, you always just can't help but look at this and just be baffled at why is this guy even still a ref? Seriously, in storyline, why is this guy even still a ref? How come this guy isn't being fined here? But final moments of this matchup, we had saw Malaya Hasaka once again dropping to her knees. Oh, my neck. Oh, and the referee, like before, I mean, he should really know this playbook by now, but whatever. He's checking in on her and everything. Meanwhile, you have Genesis, who gets in there and tries to help out Exodus as they try to do a double tag team effort on, I believe it was, yes, it was Steffi Slays. They actually had tried to do a double suplex on her. Callie Ray, taking advantage of the fact that the referee was distracted with Hasaka, gets in there and pretty much kicks. I think she kicks. I'm trying to think. I'm looking at my notes here for this one. I'm looking here. Exodus. She kicks Exodus in the midsection. And as a result of that, the girls, they still have Steffi Slays up as they're getting ready to do that double suplex on her. But because Callie Ray kicked homegirl in the midsection there, that pretty much had turned the momentum in favor of Steffi Slays, who pretty much turned it into a crossbody, and she was crashing there on Genesis. Meanwhile, the momentum, it definitely had knocked Exodus on her back, and she's dazed and confused. She's trying to roll out of the ring and gather herself and everything. Callie gives chase. Meanwhile, back in the action, Steffi Slays, she's done that crossbody as a result of Callie helping in. So Steph is now on top of Exodus. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Steffi Slays and Callie Ray pick up the W right there. Pretty short honestly, straightforward match, but as soon as you saw that referee, you're just going, oh, okay, yeah, there's going to be some shenanigans going down here. Okay, whatever. From there, we get a recap. Good effort by the girls, though. Decent opener for what it was worth. We get a recap of the Psycho Sisters and their feud against Voodoo Doll, Princess Aussie, and Holiday. This pretty much sets up a little compilation on the return of the original Psycho Sister member, Spike, who we had talked about from the last show. And I appreciate the fact that David McLean and crew, at that particular time, we got to remember, at the particular time that they initially recorded this episode, you could have gone on the WOWE site, the Women of Wrestling site, and you could have pretty much seen the entire archive that was available for the promotion and get yourself caught up on Spike. However, as it stands right now, as of this recording, that is not the case anymore. So your best bet is to see if you could find something on Daily Motion, or if maybe you could find something on YouTube as far as checking out her past history and involvement with the promotion. But I appreciate the fact that David McLean and crew said, hey, Spike, she goes back many years with us. She had memorable feuds against Selena Majors, great matches there against her. She also had a shot at the WOW Women's Championship as she took on Lana Starr, and she came that close to becoming the new WOW champion. However, the decision, it pretty much had got reversed because it was a controversial finish that had went down. So they did a nice job, I personally felt, in getting you caught up to speed on everything concerning Spike. This pretty much was setting up Holiday taking on Spike. Also, during this match, we got an update from David McLean on the current status of Razor. They basically said she got sent to the nearest hospital. She got the best of care because remember, she was burned in the face there by Voodoo Doll a couple of episodes ago. And David McLean said that she was able to get to the hospital in time and they were able to perform emergency surgery on her and that she's healing up rather well. He would not talk about whether or not, we've seen the last of Razor and her involvement with WOW. He just said, hey, as far as a speedy recovery goes, she's on the path. She is pretty much on her way. So you get that nice little update. That's good and everything. The match itself, though, Holiday versus Spike, I mean, this match must have gone on for about, I would say, as far as in-ring action goes between both girls, I would say this probably went on for about 2, maybe 3 minutes at most between these two girls. And remember what I had said to you guys last episode when I had revealed to you all, hey, look, I did my research on this girl Spike. Some of you guys may not be familiar with her and everything. That's okay. But I told you all, Huber, no. Her name will come to me. Her name will come to me in a hot minute. You guys got to give me a second because you guys know her under a different name. You guys know her under. But I had said to you guys, look, I'm sure that with the great type of editing that WOW is able to do, they're going to make Spike look like $1 million freaking bucks. Now that she's back with the company and all, they're going to make her look pretty damn good. Because I said to you guys straight up, I said, look, not for nothing, but some of the stuff that I saw of her matches online that was available on YouTube, I said to you guys straight up, and look, don't get me wrong, she has an impressive resume as far as opponents that she faced. I mean, my God, Deonna Purrazzo, Lufisto is in there. Even Su Yung, she's had some pretty damn good matches in there all throughout her career. Respectfully, she has been a journeyman in her own right, wrestling in Japan, wrestling all over in the United States, various promotions that she's worked for. So, but I said to you guys, as far as her offense goes, she is pretty much, I mean, looks wise, badass. She's got that whole look down. And if you guys recall, I believe I said to you guys, straight up, I said, take Ruby Soho, and I can't remember who was the other girl I had mentioned, but I basically had said, look, put the two of them in a blender, and this is pretty much who you're going to get, if you guys recall that. I don't know if you guys recall that, but that's exactly how I had labeled her. I said, just put Ruby Soho and this other girl in the blender, and you're pretty much going to get Hudson Envy. That's her name, Hudson Envy. You guys probably know her better as Hudson Envy. But a lot of what I saw presentation wise, I mean, she's got the whole badass, I'm that crazy bitch you don't want to mess with because I'm going to go ballistic on your ass. I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to go psycho on you. Okay. I will go above and beyond. She reminds me of, oh, that's a perfect analogy, by the way. She would be the end result of taking Ruby Soho and Sami Callihan, putting them both in a blender, and this is what you get. You get Hudson Envy, aka Spike. That is the perfect analogy. In-ring wise, there is nothing flashy about her. There is nothing. Okay. And I just felt, if you guys recall from the previous episode, I said, look, the way that they do their editing and, their cutting and then all the great transitioning that they do and all that, they're going to make her look good. And sure enough, this match against Holiday, for what it was worth, they actually made it look pretty competitive. They made it look like a downright freaking brawl of hatred between these two women. Again, this only lasted about 2 to 3 minutes because all hell just broke out as the girls from both respected alliances came out and they were just spilling all the action to the ring. It got in the ring. Shaw Guerrero had no choice but to make this match be a no contest. David McClain, pretty fed up. He's pretty much had enough because he's seen with his own two eyes, and we've seen with our own two eyes over the course of many episodes, these two teams. Okay, we need some finality to this, man. We need to just nip this in the bud already. So David McClain grabbed a microphone afterwards, pretty disgusted. He's had his boiling point, or he's reached his boiling point at this particular juncture. And he said, okay, you know what? Very soon, in a couple of weeks, we're going to just take care of this once and for all. It's going to be Spike. It's going to be Mesmeriah, Fury, you three Psycho Sisters are going to take on Holiday, Princess Aussie, Voodoo Doll. 6-woman tag team matchup. So that's what's going to be going down the pipeline. I would assume in these last 2 episodes, unless they're going to maybe pick it up at the tapings, we'll have to wait and see how that comes about. But moving forward, Temptress taking on Lioness. This was our first time seeing Lioness since she was humiliated in the middle of the ring. What was it, 2, maybe almost 3 episodes ago by Team Blondage, Amber O'Neil, Lana Starr, and Chrissy Vane. So she came out, she cut her hair just a little bit. It wasn't really, it might have been a lot longer, but she didn't really cut it too much. It wasn't a dramatic haircut. Still looked very recognizable. Now, she did ditch the gold attire that we have seen her in for the longest time. This go around, she just came out to some red spandex, red long-legging spandex. She had a sports bra on, and she pretty much was just fighting that way. But yeah, she took on the Temptress, Katarina Waters there. This was a very short matchup. I wish I could be here and just say to you guys, right? But I mean, no bull. This episode, which ran about 44 minutes, however, if you take away the built-in commercials that were in there, I would say this was probably about a 40-minute episode, a 39 to maybe a 40-minute episode, give or take. But This was an extremely short match. I wouldn't be surprised if this one was under 3 minutes, quite honestly, because that's how short this match was. But this one, in a nutshell, look, Lioness looked pretty good against the in-ring veteran there, and Temptress, Katarina Waters, held her own pretty good. Closing moments of this matchup, we saw Lioness go up to the top rope. She was looking to do a high-risk maneuver, but Dagger, Temptress' partner there, was grabbing at Lioness' ankle. Lioness pretty much shaking her off, kicking her in the chest, sending her off the apron, crashing down to the canvas. Temptress goes charging after Lioness. Lioness manages to do a leapfrog over Temptress, lands on her feet, manages to turn around in time as Temptress was coming right at her, connects with a beautiful roundhouse kick, does Lioness, goes for the cover, 1, 2, 3, match is over, that's it. So that was pretty good. That was pretty good for what it was worth there. So it's nice that they're trying to go about, okay, here's Lioness, she's had some time to regroup. I like how David McClain was on commentary wondering if it's a little bit too soon for her to be back in action, given everything that has come about in recent weeks. But as we saw here, she pretty much picking up right where she left off before Lana Starr, Chrissy Vane got involved with her and all that. But you still got that big old cloud and storyline lingering over her head as far as whether or not she is going to try to pursue extracting some type of revenge on Team Blondage. And with only 2 episodes to go, you feel where I'm coming from? So I'm not really expecting to see a proper bookend to this feud that's been going on with Team Blondage and Lioness, but anything can happen with these final 2 episodes. The way I've been operating with these episodes, I don't spoil myself and try to get the results beforehand. I pretty much watch the episodes once a week when I'm ready to watch them. And, I'm taking the notes and all that, and pretty much I'm reacting that way. And then, as we have been talking about on these shows these past couple of weeks, kind of speculate where potentially we may be going with the angles and all matches and all of that. From there, our main event match of this episode, 4th match, Thunder Rosa taking on Serpentine, #1 contender spot on the line. Now, they did give a little bit of a nod to Jungle Girl. It wasn't much, though. We still don't know the status of Jungle Girl. We don't know if she's going to be coming back to WoW anytime soon, but her name, her face is still being brought up. And I don't know about you guys, but I just couldn't help but wonder to myself if Jungle Girl was maybe going to return on this episode. And finally, we get some answers as far as why Jungle Girl has been away for so long. But that did not happen, at least not on this episode. We did not see the return of Jungle Girl. This was a straight up instant classic match between Thunder Rosa. I'm sorry, I said Thunder Rosa and Serpentine. You guys got to forgive me. Tessa Blanchard taking on Serpentine, aka Thunder Rosa. I'm glad I caught myself there. I'm glad, because we're like, wait a minute, how can Thunder Rosa take on Serpentine? All things considered, how is that? I mean, really? But no, Thunder Rosa, aka Serpentine, taking on Tessa Blanchard. Rivalry renewed here. #1 contender spot to face Beast. This was an instant classic. Anytime these 2 girls have been able to lock up, and WoW, I have enjoyed it because it's been instant classic, banger good, stellar matches. And this one was no different right here. I love the fluidity that was going on in this match. At certain points, we saw some really great fluid wrestling transitional holds that was going down. The pacing was fantastic as well. I love the energy that was all throughout this match. I particularly liked it when they took it up a notch and were brawling outside the ring, going over by the barricades there. You know, why the referee was kind of losing control and not really counting the girls down, because at one point it kind of froze there. It's like the referee just froze one, and, you know, ref just is freezing in time there. But, you know, it's all good. But nah, man, I loved what was going on here with both of these girls. Serpentine at one point connected with a beautiful hurricanrana from off the apron to Tessa Blanchard outside the ring. It was a pretty nice hurricanrana on the outside. A little bit later on, when the action had found itself getting back into the ring, Tessa had planted her knees into the face of Serpentine and connected with a nice modified code breaker for what it was worth in the corner there. There was also a missile drop kick that Tessa Blanchard, that was a nice setup too, because Tessa had got Serpentine set up in between the ropes, and it was kind of one of those dial it up 619, kind of one of those type of moments. And Tessa just came off the ropes on the opposite end real hard, and she was getting ready to go for her missile drop kick. Serpentine anticipates what's coming. She moves out the way in time, and Tessa Blanchard, she does her missile drop kick in between the ropes, but catches Sophia Lopez. And Sophia Lopez, I guess, as a instant guarding mechanism, she throws up that trademark little mini steel briefcase she usually has when she comes down the ringside. She puts that up over her face, and so that pretty much crashes into her face as a result of Tessa's missile drop kick. So that pretty much has her, you know, dazed and confused for a hot little minute there. Meanwhile, Tessa Blanchard, she gets back into the ring now that Sophia is pretty much out of the equation for a hot little bit. Her and Serpentine go at it for just a few more seconds. One point, Serpentine is on the offense, is looking pretty good. She manages to get Tessa over her shoulders. What she's looking for, who knows? Maybe she's trying to go for a Death Valley driver, who knows? Next thing you know, Tessa reverses it. She gets out of that hold. She manages to get Serpentine in her trademark signature move, the Hammerlock DDT. Plants her 1, 2, 3 cleanly in the middle of the ring. Tessa Blanchard picks up the win, and she is now the new #1 contender that will go on to face Beast for the Women's Championship. Post-match, David McLean has words with Tessa and pretty much says to her straight up, hey, you know, whether some of the fans may like it or not, Tessa, definitely you got to get your props because you won this match. You became the #1 contender here on your own. You did it without any help. You won the right to face Beast for the Wild Women's Championship. Tessa snatched that microphone, and I love David. Bless David, because the way David had pretty much sold it there when she snatched that microphone from David. She put some sauce on that freaking snatching of that microphone, as well as when she pushed the hell out of David. But David, she didn't push David that bad, but David oversold, and I get why. I mean, you need to oversell it, right? So David McLean did perfect as far as I was concerned. But Tessa bringing up the fact that nah, McLean, nah. When I won the championship, the first rodeo, I did it on my own. Everything that I've been doing so far here in Women of Wrestling, I pretty much been doing it on my own. Just like what I did just now. And she's pretty much saying, I will become the new WOW Women's Champion. And it pretty much had went off like that. So we got a instant classic that is going to be going down here between Tessa Blanchard and Beast. I can't help but wonder how this is going to play out exactly. Is this going to play out over the course of the last 2 episodes? Or is this maybe going to end in a way where when the tapings for a while does resume, that's actually the match that's going to be taped? See, something that we all got to be thinking about here for those of us that haven't jumped too far ahead and everything. So I'm most curious to see how this is going to pan out, because trust me, by the time we get to our season finale episode, we're going to preview things that we can anticipate from these tapings. That's going to be the new season of Women of Wrestling. We'll definitely be anticipating it, going over the card, what all could possibly be going down, who for a fact, okay, look, we should be able to bank on these girls being involved, and okay, these matches should be going down. So it's going to be interesting to see how everything pairs up here. But a well-rounded look. Out of the 4 matches, really, I wasn't a fan of how short Holiday versus Spike was. I definitely wasn't a fan of how short Temptress versus Lioness was. I wasn't even, really, you could give a nod there to the opener for the tag match, but you had a lot of hokey dokey, with that referee once again. And, once you've seen it 2, 3, 4 times, you just go, Jesus, enough already. So that was slightly a little bit of a buzzkill, but I would say the episode, I would say in regards to episode 30 of the matches for this one, really, this was all about Thunder Rosa, aka Serpentine, taking on Tessa Blanchard. That's really the calling card, the milestone moment, if you will, for checking out this particular episode. So I'm most curious to see how things are going to be panning out on episode 31 and 32 here. But yeah, I would say of all the WoW episodes that we've covered so far, this was probably one of their weakest. Wasn't a terrible episode. I don't want people to get my words twisted. It wasn't a terrible episode. I mean, honestly, if I had to just say a scale of 1 to 10, I probably would be at about a 5 for this respected episode. A 5. Can't go higher. I daggone sure can't go any lower. So I'm most curious, what did you guys that ended up seeing this episode, what did you guys think about it? As I mentioned earlier, I check out all the comments that come my way, and I see that there's a decent amount of you guys. Some of you had reached out to me, hey Lee, I need a starting point on which episodes I should check out, because I'm really interested in this particular wrestler. Where would you recommend I start? Oh, hey man, can you tell me what so-and-so has been up to since? Sometimes I get those questions, whether it's comments on the videos, or some of you guys will hit me up with an email or a DM. I'm always responding to you guys. So any questions, any comments, just throw it my way. I definitely love hearing from you guys. As far as programming notes go, we're loaded up this week, man. It's WrestleMania week. There's a whole lot of stuff that's going to be going down this week. So you got this episode. Keep your eyes peeled. If it hasn't dropped by now, it should drop the next day. There is going to be NXT Stand and Deliver predictions. We also are going to have WrestleMania predictions for you guys. So it's going to be a nice loaded up joint as far as content goes. Let's not also forget, we're going to be doing the Stand and Deliver post show, WrestleMania Night 1 and 2 post shows. We're going to be covering the Hall of Fame ceremony with a special post show. So you definitely want to be connected to me all throughout the social media, as we'll be streaming all our post shows, everything to not just Facebook, but also to Twitter and YouTube as well. Speaking of which, if you have made it up to this point and you had yourself a nice good old time, do me a huge favor, especially since it's free and it only takes you 2 seconds. Hit that like button. When you hit that like button, you really help supercharge content such as this. It helps out big time as far as recommendations go, and helping others check out our content with better ease, and in the process continuing to build our community. So do that, and thanks. Feel free to subscribe as well. click on the notifications there so you don't miss out on future content that comes your way. Make sure you get at me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Appreciate those of you that's been giving me a follow on those respected avenues. I would say best bet, I am most active on the Twitter, so definitely get at me on the Twitter. And I also like commenting on the YouTube's community board. I've been doing that a lot more within the past several weeks. So, but YouTube, community board, and Twitter, those are the best two main outlets I would recommend you guys take advantage of. So that is going to do it. Please definitely feel free to share your thoughts on what you thought about this week's WOW Women of Wrestling. And in case you don't know by now, because I still get this question, people are, hey, where can I watch? Remember, Pluto TV or the CW app. You do not need a credit card. You don't need to sign up. All you got to do is just download those respected apps for your respected devices. Maybe you got, Apple, or correction, maybe you got a, what am I thinking? iOS, Android, and what I normally do, I have the CW app. I got both apps on my iPad. And what I normally do, since I have a smart TV, I normally just go to screen mirror. Is it mirror share, mirror screen? I can tell you in a hot second here. Bear with me a second. I will go into screen mirroring mode, and I will basically share my iPad screen with my smart TV. And then once it's connected, I pretty much will launch the either the Pluto TV app or the CW app, and I watch my episodes of WOW Women's Wrestling that way. You don't need to worry about signing up, connect with Facebook or connect with Google. You don't have to do any of that. Once you've downloaded either Pluto or the CW app, you just launch it, type in WOW or Women of Wrestling, and then you're pretty much good to go. And it's free. That's the best part. It's free. I believe you can even do it on a desktop as well. So FYI. All right, guys, that is going to do it. Until next go round, I'm wishing all of you all to be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another. I'll check you guys out next go round. Take care, y'all.